Hi everyone, it's me again. um, I did a little bit of a poll on Twitter asking what people are interested in knowing. Um, and I've got quite a few questions about midpoints, which obviously is one of my favorite topics and it's the easiest one to answer. So when I started astrology when I was in my early 20s, in early 90s, my teacher, Pamela Rowe, she was a cosmobiologist. So she taught me cosmobiology plus modern astrology. And our book, our Bible, was this book, The Combination of Stellar Influences by Reinhold Eberton. Okay. So if you're interested in midpoints, it is probably the Bible that you need. Okay. Sorry for my puppy making noise. Okay, so in here, it's got every possible midpoint structure you can have, and there's interpretation. And what I love about it, because they also went through psychological, biological correspondences, sociological, and also the more mundane things, okay? So even body parts in medical midpoints as well. So it's quite detailed. If you're interested, that's the book you need, okay? So what I thought I'd do is I'm quickly going to share my screen. I'm getting better at this. So I think I have to click on all the ones that I want to share to make sure that they all come up. So let me just minimize that. So I was thinking would look at Elon Musk's chart because he's always in the news, as we know, because of Twitter and what's happening over there. So once you put up your normal chart, sorry, I should have gone back to that, your normal wheel, standard wheel, 360 wheel, you can see I don't have a time for Elon Musk, so I'm just using a midday chart. You can see the sun is right on the midheaven. Okay, so what do we do? How do I convert that to a dial? So now I'm using SolarFire. Okay, this is a software I use. I don't know if you've got it, and I don't know other softwares, how they do their midpoints, but I can only teach you the software that I have, and that is SolarFire. Okay, so there's a drop down here. You go to dial. And here you've got a 90-degree dial, okay? There are different dials. You can have a look here. There's heaps of different harmonics you can use, but for this example, we're using the 90-degree, which is the one used most predominantly by the cosmobiologists, okay? And what you do is then you click in the center and you can move this dial around, okay? It's good just to do this in your chart, because go around and see which degree, even if there's no planet there, you can see that this is called a midpoint tree. So have a look at, do you have a tree that's really big? Because that would mean, let's see, Elon's sun is at this quite a few midpoints there, okay? You can see them all on this side. So that means by transit, if something comes to that degree, every time something really triggers his sun, not only does it trigger his sun, it also triggers this midpoint tree, okay? That's why midpoints are so detailed, okay? Because you might have an unaspect planet, traditional aspects, and you say, well, nothing's going to happen. I've got no aspects to that planet. What does that mean? It doesn't work for me. But if you put that planet and look at the midpoints that it comes to, of course, you're going to have so much more information. That's why I call it the hidden dimension, one of them anyway. So you can keep going around and have a look. The other thing is in reports, you can see there's midpoint listing, okay? So anytime you want to find where there's a midpoint in your chart, just so you know there's a planet at a certain point, especially when planets are stationary, if it's triggering a midpoint in your chart, it's going to be there for a long time, and that can either be quite difficult if it's Saturn sitting on a already difficult midpoint structure, or if it's Jupiter, you're going to have a lot of luck that time, okay? So this is why I love midpoints so much. Now, I'm going to look at one midpoint. Everyone wants to know if they're going to be a millionaire, okay? So the millionaire midpoint is Jupiter-Pluto. A lot of millionaires have this combination of planets, and the midpoint is very important. So for Elon, it's 27 of Libra. So then what do? What I should have told you from the beginning is that when we look at the dial, there's 90 degrees. The first 30 is the cardinal signs. The second 30 are the fixed signs, and the third 30 or all the mutable signs. So you need to know the difference between cardinal, fixed, and mutable for cosmobiology and using this style, okay? Now, I do teach this all in the my beginners courses, okay? Okay, so when we go around, if I go around to 27, remember Libra is a cardinal sign. So I go to 27, and you can see that is Pluto and Jupiter, their midpoint. You can see that they're both at 27, okay? So the difference between them is their sextile, okay? So their midpoint's going to be also at a 27, but it's going to be at 27 of Libra on the cardinal side. So now, he doesn't have a natal planet there, but he's got the moon. Possibly, we don't have a time, but we could almost say we rectify his chart the fact that, you know, he may have had the moon there and he was born around midday, okay? But if that's not the case, there's still a point here that's waiting to be activated, okay? So by quick calculation, if you know solar arc or directions, that 1 year of your life equals 1 degree, if we move the sun by that, how long is it going to take to get to 27? Well, we take away the 6 that are already there from the 27. So around 21, his Jupiter-Pluto midpoint would have been activated by the sun. Now, something must have happened to him at 21. I don't know enough about his life, but this is how we can prove the power of solar arc. And I don't know if that's when he started PayPal or what he did prior to that. I know he did something else. But if anyone knows about his life, let me know. Put it in the comments. God, it'd be interesting to know if that's when he started to get, his enterprise, some sort of enterprise that started bringing him money and fame, okay? So have a look. If you want to look at your own, find where your Jupiter-Pluto is in your chart and watch it for transits, okay? Now, I've got 2 tutorials to help you with this. One is try to know yourself, know thyself, and the part of fortune tutorial, which shows all your lucky midpoints. So if you're interested in this type of analysis, but just to tell you, I use Solar 5 for all my tutorials, okay? Now, the other thing you can do is we can look at transits to this, okay, to your natal chart. So if I look at what's happening at the moment, I do bi-wheel. I know I've got the bi-wheel set for Melbourne, but for this example, it doesn't really matter. But can you see how at the moment, if we look at the wheel, we can see that Mars, his natal Mars is at 20 Aquarius 56. So Saturn transiting Saturn at the moment is at 20 Aquarius 27. There's only a few minutes before it's exact, okay? So this is obviously a difficult transit for him at the moment, when it's going to be exact just probably before Christmas. But can you see them? Remember I told you, look at your midpoint trees. So this is going through an important axis in his chart, which brings in his sun, okay? And we can't look at the ascendant midheaven because I don't have the exact time, but we can definitely use the sun and his Mars, because they are, remember, anything across the dial is either 45 degrees or 135, and that is the 8th harmonic, okay? Now, that's all linked in here. So the fact that Saturn is there and we have Uranus here on his nodes, okay? This suggests to me, just looking at it now, that there's going to be for him and the people around him, because the nodes are all to do with associations we have, okay? Relationships, associations with other people, on a karmic level too. So the Saturn node is about separation, difficulties, because Neptune's there as well. So disappointment and difficulties, separations, but also there can be new ones because it's at the midpoint of the Jupiter node. So there's like letting go of old associations and making new positive ones. There's a big shift here. And the fact that Uranus there, it's that sudden change. So be interesting to see if he brings someone in, or he fires more people and brings in new. So it's definitely a difficult time for him. but also can be a great time in terms of speculation. So there's a dual thing happening here. Saturn can bring in restrictions, but it can also bring in stability. But with Mars, it can hurt. Okay, so it'd be interesting to see before Christmas, we're going to have some sort of news, I would predict, to do with more changes. And this can cause some people to be really happy and other people to be quite disappointed. So you're going to be looking at Tesla, Twitter stocks. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But there will be noise, not noise, news. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. And yeah, until next time, I say goodbye.